To me, there are a few things to be looked into on this titah. First and foremost, there is nothing wrong constitutionally for the YDPA to issue that titah, which, if we are to read it as a whole in a proper sense, it is basically the expression of His Majesty's concern whether, in the light of the current political turmoil, the parliamentarians will be able to see and judge properly the part of the budget 2021 with regards to the expenses for the fight against COVID-19 and the recovery of the economy of the Rakyat. That is, of course, very important for any country, and the expression of this concern by His Majesty must be looked at in that perspective, and that is very much constitutional. Secondly, one cannot say that just because His Majesty has issued the titah, he is taking active involvement in politics. He is not. What he is carrying out is his constitutional function, and in checking and balancing the three other pillars of our constitution, the judiciary, executive and the parliament. And in the current political turmoil, where there seems to be certain quarters within the parliamentarians and political parties who seem to give more importance on their personal and political survival, it is timely for His Majesty to make this advice, to render this advice and his concern. And we must look at it from that perspective. Thirdly, I think the ball now is in the court of the Minister of Finance, the minister responsible to table the budget, wherein before it's tabled, it is important that he gets consensus from all the other parliamentarians pertaining to the parts of the budget 2021 which concerns that issue, i.e. the fight against COVID-19 and the recovery of the economics. I'm very sure, based on the proper advice of His Majesty herein, all the parliamentarians will be able to exercise the decision in a wise way. Of course, the budget 2021 would also contain many other parts, for example, other expenses depending on the policy of the government. On education, for example, other industries, international relations and whatnot. On these parts, the parliamentarians are free to give their recommendations, their views, and if necessary to ask the government to consider amending those parts without touching the parts with regards to the fight against COVID-19 and the economic recovery, which of course is the concern of the Rakyat. And therefore, I would urge that the public and the politicians especially look at this titah as in the way it is actually issued, which is to express His Majesty's concern pursuant to his constitutional power as the YDPA of this beloved nation.